morning. I'll cuddle close to you.
Oh, please, I welcome it. I welcome it. Dr. Oz, thank you so much for joining us. This is your second panel today, so I very much appreciate it. So, you know, you are a very widely recognized voice on health and wellness. You've authored multiple books. Your show, The Dr. Oz Show, is in its 9th season. But if we were to back things up a little bit, you know, was there sort of an aha moment when you realized, hey, I want to do more than simply teaching or practicing medicine? I want to become more of a public, more visible advocate.
So I'm a heart surgeon. I still operate 1 day a week, but I used to do the most heart surgery in New York, which is where I practiced at Columbia University. And I would see patients that I was going to operate on. And for those of you who have not seen heart surgery, you take a bandsaw, a big saw, and you saw through this big bone in front of the heart. And I kept thinking, these people could have avoided this if they just knew a little bit more, a little bit earlier. And my wife, who's in the audience somewhere, had a much bigger vision for me than I did. And there's a fine line between vision and hallucination, right? People have to see your vision. And I began to follow her vision for understanding that if I can go out and talk to people about this, they can change. Because the reason most folks have not gotten the message about health is because we in medicine haven't given it to you. And media in any form, and there are many video content creators there, but in any form out there, all of those are opportunities for us to connect in unique ways. And I decided I wanted to be in that space.
And one of the unique ways earlier on that you connected with a larger audience was appearing on the Oprah Winfrey Show. I believe that was around 2004, and you did so for several years. One might consider that a big break. How did that sort of come about?
So my wife was executive producing a show for Discovery Channel called Second Opinion. My goal with this 13 hours of documentary was to have a couple very big name guests. And I called Oprah, the biggest name person in the world. And she came on for reasons we still don't know, because we still laugh about it. And I became a guest on her show afterwards, did her show about 80 times, and she's my partner now on my television show. And also my partner in ShareCare, which we started when the show was launching with Jeff Arnold, who was the founder of WebMD, because Oprah realized we needed to have a place where people could get more information about their health than just on television. But the real opportunity, I think there was the big vision that she and Jeff Arnold had more than I did, was that if people could have their health in one place, they would actually be able to change their health. If they actually controlled it, not the government, not their employer, not their insurance company, if they actually controlled it, and we could provide information, content that was energizing and fun and exciting, Emmy Award-winning content, then people would actually find it something they wanted to engage with. And then when I told you were stressed out, do this, or you're gaining weight, do that, or you might have a cancer, get this test done, or go to this hospital, that doctor, buy this medication at a better price, you'd actually pay attention.
Got it. So now let's fast forward a few years. The Dr. Oz Show is in its 9th season. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You covered a lot of ground. Over 1,000 episodes, is that right?
1,500 episodes.
1,500 episodes. That's
but
pretty
who's
amazing.
Counting?
But where would you like, I mean, you've covered a lot of bases, but where would you want to go from there? Is there anything you haven't covered on the show that you want to?
We have a lot of information that I need to go to a little more deeply. The biggest problem I'm finding now in all of our surveys is the inability of people to cope with stress, which seems so soft, but it leads to drug addiction. #1 cause of accidental death in young, age 20 to 60 Americans is addiction to opiates. It's becoming a bigger problem in Europe and around the world. We have a major problem now in America with crimes that we don't understand. Why does a crazy man kill all these people in Las Vegas? Or you saw on Sunday in a church, you kill an entire family and others. So I'm doing a lot more mental health, and I'm getting into the true crime. I'm getting to the forensics through the lens of a doctor. Because, you know, historically, doctors always spoke about things that mattered to society. But lately, doctors haven't gone to the side and watched society do things. We need to get more aggressive in medicine. All professionals, engineers, lawyers, clergy, professionals have to engage in society and make sure the ship of society is sailing straight. And if we abdicate that responsibility, if we don't take charge, then it's a problem, because when good people watch bad things happen, that's what evil really is. It's not bad people doing bad things, it's good people letting bad people do bad things, and we all have an obligation to stop that.
Fair, fair. Now, earlier our MC mentioned Jeff Bezos, Amazon CEO, and Bezos has also said that, especially here in the tech industry, one ultimately needs to fail in order to ultimately succeed. That being said, I would love to hear from someone successful like you. What's one mistake you've made in your career, and what did you learn from it?
The biggest mistake that I've made in my career is trying to give people facts, which anyone who's tried to just give the facts, whether it's to your wife or your children or your parents or to your business associates, or in my case to millions of people, right? 10 million people watch our show a week around the world. But if I just give you the facts, you won't act on it, because people change based on what they feel, not what they know. So if I'm just throwing more information out, after a while you don't want to hear it. So I have had to become much more proficient at hearing. You can't fix a problem till you hear a problem. And although I'm a talk show host, I'm actually a guest in people's homes. You let me come into your home because I hear your issues and I try to address the emotional part of the problem. If you want to get someone to stop smoking, start by telling them that you love them and you care about them, and if they love themselves as much as you cared about them, they would never do that to their sacred bodies. That's a much more effective technique than you smoked and you should not smoke and it's bad for you, you should know better, because that finger wagging makes them go back and run away from you.
Now, I want to talk a bit about Dr. Oz, the brand. I mean, again, the show is syndicated across over 100 countries, multiple books. We're here right now in Lisbon. But like any personal brand, there are bumps on the road. In 2014, for example, you testified in front of Congress. What have you learned from those obstacles?
Well, the interesting thing about my career is even before I started my show, when I was still doing the Oprah show, they were using my name and lying about what I thought was happening. They would say, I'm selling this weight loss product. I don't sell any weight loss supplements. They were saying I'm selling a skin cream. I don't sell skin creams. So they were using my face, my image, and Oprah's to pretend that we were selling products. It was fake advertising. The 2014 event, interestingly, was voluntarily requesting me to testify about why fake advertising can't be stopped. It was the beginning of fake news. And now we're all focused, I hope, on fake news, but the ancestor was fake advertising. And let me be really clear about this. The biggest tech companies in the world are making a fortune on fake news and fake advertising. It is only about the money. It's not about political prowess, only about the money. And we have to clean up the web. It's becoming a ghetto. And it's a dangerous place because you can't trust what you're hearing. My biggest obstacles have been fake advertising using my name, because we know that when I talk about things on the show, people go out and buy walnuts or vegetarian foods. But if you pretend or lie that I'm selling a specific product, you can sell that as well. Hundreds of millions of dollars of products sold dishonestly, and I've learned a lot from that because I have to help try to protect you. So besides litigating and trying to climb up, I have to be louder about fake news. That's why I've done shows looking at the brain of people who are given fake news. And I'm going to explain something very important. When you're being given fake news, it's like you're being beaten with a stick. Your brain reacts like you're being attacked. You don't have time to think with your prefrontal cortex. You only respond with your reptilian brain, so you make bad decisions. And people know this and they prey on you. And we have an obligation, everyone in this room, to do better than that.
Fair enough. You talk about the internet. That being said, you're doing a lot of good work on the internet. Let's talk about ShareCare, a company that you co-founded with the founder of WebMD, I believe around 2010. First off, and to clarify, ShareCare is sort of a one-stop sort of online platform for people to manage their health and wellness. Why create that?
The reason ShareCare is so important to me is because we have a lot of very smart people creating individual spot solutions. This one helps with hair loss, that helps with weight loss, this one deals with your insurance card, that one might help you with pharmaceuticals. Wherever you live in the world, you have similar tools that are being designed, people like you making really smart advances. But there's no forum, place, platform for these all to live, so the consumers can't find them. And they don't talk to each other like they need to talk to each other, so you can't use them. And the biggest problem is you don't own your data. Your hospital has your data, your government has your data, your insurance company has your data, you don't have it. So the information that's tracked is financial data about how much you spend, not how you're doing. And the tools that are designed to figure out how you're feeling and coping, they're not synced in. So you have everyone speaking a different language. ShareCare puts it all in the one place. It makes a basic foundation so every other good idea can plug into it if it's worthy. The marketplace can then decide if you want it or not, but you can use what you desire. And most importantly, it's not only all your information in one place, but it's all your information in your place. You control it. If you move insurance companies or move countries, move companies, it's still your information. And so we can do things like look at the stress in your voice and analyze how that stress is impacting your life. You control it. You don't give it to anybody else. I only tell you about your stress in your voice. But I can tell you that when you talk to your boss late at night, you don't sleep so well. Don't talk to your boss late at night. Well, when you call your children in the morning, you do better at work. Call your children in the morning. I can also tell you about things you don't even know about your health. Without you realizing it, I can get that information if you want me to, if you opt in and give it to you.
Got it. And how many people has it helped? Tens of millions of people?
So we platform launched, we actually did it with Oprah in the spring in Hawaii. We used Hawaii as the first launch because it's an island, like an experiment. But we are the biggest insurer with most of the people in Hawaii is our partner. We have big companies there as well. And we're giving tools to people day in and day out to nudge them to make wiser decisions. Because that's how you change health. To get the people when they're ready to hear the information, don't just throw it at them like a fire hose. Tell them, at this moment you should hear this. Don't eat that, eat this. Don't go to this problem, go to that issue first. By giving them advice, they can act more insightfully.
Got it. How do you see ShareCare sort of evolving in the future?
What I'm proud about with ShareCare is it spreads around the world. We launched in Brazil this year. They're already in the United States. We'll be in Europe, we think, in 2019. We give all the brilliant people who have good ideas a place to put their stuff. Our equivalent of an Apple store. So it can all live on our platform and people can use it as they desire. It's free to the consumer. Free to the consumer. The people who are making money off of it because you'll charge less to insurance cards, you'll use less services because you're wiser about your own health, you'll get better care earlier, they'll benefit. Remember, the most expensive care is bad care. You never want to have bad care. It's a Turkish proverb of Turkish origin. A wise man is not the problem. It's the fool that throws the coin down the well. It takes 100 men, wise men, to get that coin back out of the well. And in healthcare, we make that mistake continually.
Got it. So the show again is in its 9th season, multiple books. What have you not tried that you would like to try?
I'm going to start a podcast. I've decided after a lot of thought that so much of the information that we have is designed for the broad population, but they're deeper dives we can do into pregnancy and parenting and menopause and vitamins and weight loss. So those are more conducive to people hearing in a longer form rather than a 1-hour show with lots of fun and celebrities and games and conversations. Make this more about delivering that to people in an audio format.
When can we expect that podcast?
This fall. We're actually going to work with How Stuff Works International, which is actually, ironically, How Stuff Works was created by Jeff Arnold and sold to Discovery, but it's now become a big platform for podcasts, so we'll be working with them.
Got it. Now, we have literally thousands of people in the audience right now. If you could give one piece of sort of health or wellness advice to them, what would it be?
So the most important lesson I've tried to use in my own life was one that you're probably trying to figure out too, is how do I manage my time? How do I take advantage of all I want to do, but I don't have this much time? And the advice I give to my own family, my daughter Zoe is here. She works with the Kairos folks, working with young entrepreneurs, and I tell her this too. It's not about time management. It's about energy management. The things that you do in your life that give you chi, give you life force, give you the ability to do better, that's what will make you do better in life. Forget about managing time. Your time will then automatically sort out because if the things you're doing are giving you energy, you'll make more time. Now that stated, there's some basic building blocks. Sleep is a good example. And I know Colin Lawler's here from Sleep Score, but you have devices now which are so good at measuring why you're not sleeping and giving you advice on it. You want to take devices like that, tie them into your life, and never shortchange the things that build you to be stronger. So if you sleep well for 8 hours, you will work better for the 16 hours you're awake than sleeping 6 hours and working for the remaining of the day. Food can fix it oftentimes, especially in this beautiful city of Lisbon. You go to the markets here, you have unbelievable access to foods, for example, that have omega-3 fats. Your brain is mostly fat. If you don't put those facts in your brain, you won't be able to cope with stress nor come up with better ideas. It's these types of simple tips that I see all the big name entrepreneurs using. They don't always know it when they're 20 or 30, but they figure it out by the time they're 40. And take those tips and use them day to day in your life.
My last question is, again, many of the people in the audience here, they are entrepreneurs. Maybe they're budding entrepreneurs or maybe they're later stage entrepreneurs. As an entrepreneur yourself, is there one piece of parting advice you can give them?
I'll give you the best advice I've ever gotten. You know when horses race, they put blinders on like this? They do that because if the horse looks to the right or to the left, they get distracted, they slow down. Many of you are starting businesses that could be really big. But if you're more focused on your competition than what you're trying to do, then you will never be able to go as fast. So you might beat your competition, but you won't change the world quite as much. When I make my show, and again, my mentor was Oprah. When Oprah was teaching me, she would say, always, always, always focus on the viewer. Forget everything else. If it's not serving them, then you're not doing the best you can do. And if you want to be iconic and change by differentiating yourself from everything else out there, be your own person, go as fast. That doesn't mean ignore realities, but don't let preoccupation with other people and what they're doing and what social media is hinting at distract you from what's important to you. Because if you focus, laser focus on your customer, you will always succeed no matter what everyone else around is used. That's what I look for in people that I'm going out to acquire and partner with, people who are so doggone aiming at the right target and hitting it that I know eventually they'll succeed.
Well, Dr. Mehmut Oz, thank you so much for your time and insight this afternoon. Really appreciate it. It's a real pleasure.
Yeah. I've enjoyed the meeting, by the way. Thank you for having me. Oh, picture.
Oh.
You humor me.